Hi, this is Ashley with The Polished Engineer, and welcome to this week's installment of my tips and tricks. Before I get started, make sure that you hit the subscribe button for my channel. That way you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. Today I'm going to talk about two specific errors that I commonly see and how to fix those errors and to go about diagnosing what might be wrong. Again, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to take a look at your tracker and make sure that it's working properly. But these are two common errors, so if you see them, you might be able to fix them on your own. The first one that I see a lot is when you kind of get this box, and I'll show you right here in this P&L summary, you get in one of your boxes what looks like a big string of basically number signs. And so the question always here is, what's going on? Something's not calculating, it's just giving me a bunch of numbers. And that's actually a super easy fix. What it means is that the box that the number is supposed to go in is too small to display the number. And so you can see here I kind of just entered in a bunch of numbers for May, and so May is kind of a small box here. And when I entered all those in, when it tabulates, it's bigger than what can fit in that cell. And so we need to resize it. So if you can kind of see if I hover over it, it's giving me a sum of $10,000, which is too much to fit in this box here. And so this may not be the best example. Maybe you don't normally see $10,000 there, but I've seen this happen in other tabs too. Let's say sometimes in the P&L or the Color Street Orders tab, this order date will be too small and you'll see number signs there. So this all kind of addresses that same issue. Anytime you see a bunch of number signs in your cell, it's not saying that something's wrong. It's saying that the number's just too big to show it in that size cell. So how do you fix that? We'll come back over here to the P&L summary. So for this one, the easiest thing to do is you come up here where you see these kind of column headers that have the letters. So right here we're on column H, and what you're going to do is you're going to hover over to the right hand side of that column, and you can see when I get to that middle line, it changes from this down arrow into kind of this line with arrows on either side, and that's how you actually resize a cell. So what you can do is you can either click and hold down and then just drag it to be a little bit bigger, so that would fix it. I'll make it smaller again. Or you can, while it looks like that, double click on it and it'll automatically resize it for you. That's a really great option in some cases. Other cases it may not be the best option. This column A, is a great example of that because we've got this big long kind of entry right here that if I were to go ahead and resize this properly, let's say if I made this really big and I double click here, it's only going to resize it to fit all the text, and so then that column's really, really big. We may not want that, so that's why I kind of wrapped the text to make it kind of fit on multiple rows, but that way we can make this column a little bit smaller so that you don't have quite such a large column right there. So that's one of the errors that I see a lot. The other thing that I get quite often on this tab, and so I wanted to address it, I've gotten this question quite a few times recently, is that you're looking at all of your information here and you see all these sales and stuff, but you only see the months, you don't see the grand total, and then you also see where it says distributor cost of goods or remaining inventory, but then there's nothing in the box next to it. And so this question comes up quite often and people aren't quite sure why they're not seeing a number here. And what's really happening is that it's just scrolled over. So you can see we have column A here, and then we're missing the B. B is somewhere hidden in there. And it's just because you're scrolled too far to the right. So you're only showing the months rather than all of the data on the P&L. So all you have to do is just scroll back over, and then that will give you kind of your year to date again, as well as that box for distributor cost of goods. So that happens a lot as you get to like further months in the year. You might be scrolled over looking at kind of the far months out in the year, and then you just miss that whole year to date column. So if you are missing it, come and scroll back over. So those are two of the errors that I see. One is that kind of number sign. So again, to fix that, you just either click and drag, or you can double click and it will auto adjust. And then also if you're missing your year-to-date column or this distributor cost of goods column, just make sure that you're scrolled all the way over so that you can actually see it. Okay, so that one's pretty easy. The other one that I get quite often, and here, we'll do this again on here. I kind of made it small. We'll double click and auto size it. The other one that I get quite often is you have a product that you've put in here and the product number populates, but then you get an NA under, on the customer sales. You get an NA under, say, like your quantity available after sale or your total retail price. Things are not showing up properly. You're only seeing just the product number populate. And so then the question becomes, what's happening here? Why am I not seeing all the data? The most common reason for that is that you've probably sorted your quantities tab. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that I've added in some new products into the product list, and I'm going to just kind of add one in here. Let's say it's test item 1. And we'll put in like ABC 1, 2, 3. And let's say it's $13. That's fine. Okay. So we add it in here, and then a lot of times, you're supposed to sort on the product list, but what I've seen is that, inevitably someone will go over to the quantities tab and they try to sort here. And when you click the sort there, suddenly you get all these blanks, and there's this kind of oops, uh-oh moment. You don't quite know what's going on. So then what you'll do is you just kind of come in here and say like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to delete all these blanks because I want my data to be back up at the top. So I'll just delete all that, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Okay, now it's all sorted and it looks good. So in theory, that's fine. Now we're going to come in here, we're going to add another test item. So we're going to say test item 2. And we'll say ABC 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. So you can see here in the quantities that original test item is showing up under test item 1. But test item 2 now is not showing up anywhere. It's not on the bottom of this list. It's not itemized in here. And so if I come over here to customer sales and I try to add in test item 2, the product number populates, but you can see I'm getting this kind of NA error. And what's happening here is that basically we deleted the formulas in this quantities tab that are required for a test item to show up. So if I came in here and was able to kind of drag this formula down one, you'll see the test items start showing up again. So, there's not a quick fix to this, and I don't necessarily want to show you that in this video just because it can be kind of long dated. So if this happens to you, if you've sorted your quantities tab and you're seeing this NA, then reach out to me and I can fix it for you easily. If you're an experienced Excel user, I'll record a video later that will kind of show you how to get that back to the way it should be. There's a few steps that are involved, so it's just, I don't want to address it in this video necessarily, but I just wanted to point out that if that error occurs, if you see this where some of the data is populating, but some of it is not, like you'll see NAs in these columns, then most likely the error is happening on the quantities tab, and it's probably related to either sorting in that tab or deleting some rows for some reason or other, or potentially even inserting rows into the product list. So that will also sometimes happen if you've inserted a row in the product list. You'll see the same error. So anyhow, if you see that error, please reach out to me and I can help you fix your tracker and get it back up and running. And then if you're a more experienced Excel user, definitely keep an eye out and I'll record a video later of how you actually do go about fixing it. But if you're not experienced Excel user, if you don't use Excel all that often, then I wouldn't recommend doing that. I'd recommend just reaching out to me and I can fix it for you. So anyhow, that's the other error that I wanted to address, just because I know when people see it, a lot of times it's, kind of concerning and they think their tracker's totally broken, and it's not, and it's an easy fix, and I usually know exactly what's going on. So don't panic, reach out and I can help you out. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Please leave a comment down below if you have any other comments or questions that you need addressing, and hopefully this video was helpful in identifying some of the errors that you might see. Thanks.